All right, can you hear me? Gavin, you got to unmute yourself there, buddy.
Okay, here I am.
There you are. Sherry, you on? Hello, Sherry. Sherry.
Don't know if she's on. Is she on?
Well, I see her on, so I
Somebody's
can.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll get up here in a minute.
She's muted.
Aren't you handsome? Wow.
Well, that's a few years back.
2 years back.
That's about 2 or 3 years back. Yeah.
You go ahead and get on screen. I just went ahead and got on screen, so do your thing.
There I am.
Sherry, are you on, baby? Where are you? Yeah, she started on there.
She does what.
There she is. Hey.
Oh, hey.
So
She's muted.
you're on the phone. Well, you got to hit the thing that says phone on your computer if you're going to be on phone instead of on the computer sound. There's a setting on the Zoom that you have to say you're on the telephone instead of on the computer audio. You see the setting? Okay.
So it looks like she's speaking on the phone to somebody else.
All right, wait, you don't have it hooked up right. You've got a button you've got to push that says you're on the phone for your audio instead of the computer. And if you look down the lower left, you'll see select a microphone, select a speaker, switch to phone audios down there on the third from the bottom. So you can switch to phone audio if you want to use your phone audio. You see it?
Can you hear me now?
Yep. There you go.
Okay, that worked. Okay, good.
Yeah, you got it switched over, right?
Yes.
I don't know
Be a bit technically
what's going on
challenged.
behind me here. This is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you see through the bricks.
Yeah, I do, don't I? Yeah. Okay. That's from the remnants of a green screen that I have behind me when I do the things for the chamber. Facebook group, and don't have the green screen up. Apparently, it's still showing the same picture. See, I learned something every day about this system. Learn something every day. All right, guys, I'll tell you what, we got something really, really cool going on here. I'll tell you, I got in with Gavin this afternoon. I've been working with Gavin for quite a long time, actually. It seems like forever, but I guess it's not. It's fairly recently. Gavin and I are, quote, quote, partners in a group called Lexmark, and it is in the lead generation business. In addition to that,
it was Lexmark?
Lexmark. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Lexmarkgroup.com is
okay.
The company that we're operating on right now.
Okay.
That is, like I say, it's based around lead generation. It's based around using websites to capture web traffic, and the folks that are anonymous that are coming in, and it captures the people that don't even sign a form or do anything. It just locks them in and captures their data and turns it into the most spooky stuff I've ever seen. Which, if you touch the site this is hooked up to, they're going to have all your email addresses, all your phone numbers, all your IP addresses for every computer system you use, and it will track you until you die. So it's pretty scary technology, but that's the way the world is right now.
Right.
We have as time has gone on, we've gotten to know each other better and find out more about some history and some background and some stuff that's has gone on in Gavin's past. And today, although we had discussed this briefly from time to time, this afternoon we started just talking about the project that he had his heart and soul into very recently, as a matter of fact. And if it weren't for a problem with the family, and in this case, the wife, and he also has a beautiful young daughter, a gorgeous young daughter. And so he was in the U.S., I think in Texas, right, Gavin, when this all happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Down in Texas
for the last 5 years.
When this all blew up, he, after a while, he decided to go back to Switzerland, where his wife and daughter were, to try to patch things up. So I'm not going to go into any gory details, or not gory, any family details. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say gory because they're not. But that's what stopped him from continuing work on the project we're about to talk about. Otherwise, he probably would have already had it up and running by now. So that being said, when we talked about it this afternoon, I went, my gosh, you know, like I told you, Sherry, I keep thinking about you guys and going, all right, I know there's something out there that's going to put you on the road to get out from under the government's umbrella. And when he started talking about this and how close he was to having it finished, and you know, and knowing that you, especially after I talked to you today, how you also like to touch up and make it actually look good and work functionally for the public, so to speak, or the end user is right. The end user. Then I said, whoops, I think I've got an idea here. So, so I told him about you guys and you and your working cohort, Dean.
Yes.
Hello, Dean. When you see this, I want to say hi to you. Okay, hi, Dean.
All right.
So even though I'm coming in and out, I'm actually a real human being. I'm not see-through, so don't worry about that. My spirit lives on, as they say. So what I'd like to do, Sherry, is I'd like for Gavin just to kind of give you a history of this and what it's all about. He's actually sent me on Google Drive the entire programming on this thing. And so it's starting from the beginning. Gavin, can you go from the beginning and just kind of walk through what this is all about? And Sherry, Gavin, sure. Gavin, Sherry. Hi, guys.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Hey, same here, Sherry. How are you doing?
Doing all right. And yourself?
Yeah, well, a bit tired. It's like 1:30 in the morning here, so it's okay.
Oh, wow. That is very wee hours.
Chris has me up until like 3 a.m. every morning for the last week, I think. So, but it's all good. Okay, so what it is, Chris told me a little bit about what it is you guys do, like the logistics program that you guys built and stuff like that. So it's pretty similar to what that is. So it's basically, in a nutshell, is Expedia for private jets. So if you know how the Expedia platform works, but instead of it being like an American Airlines, Continental, United, you know, stuff like that, Southwest, it's literally for private jets.
Okay. And I'm taking notes while we're talking here too. So go ahead.
Okay, sure. So basically what we did, we're not the first people in the world to pioneer this. There is about 4 or 5 different companies out there doing it already. They're like with minimum $65-70 million they would after 3 years of doing this. So there's huge markets out there for it to capitalize on it. But basically, the old model, which is the traditional brokerage model, it doesn't work well, it works, but it takes for a long time. So the problem is when somebody has to book a jet, they call a broker up. When they call the broker takes their details, their criteria that they want. They go away, they speak to operators that operate aircrafts, gets a quote for them, comes back, go back to the client, tell the client the quote, the client says yeah or no, then they go back to the operator if anything to renegotiate anything, then they come back, then they sign agreements, then they exchange funds, then the trip is booked, and that usually takes about sometimes anywhere between 2 or 3 hours to up to 10 hours. I've had cases the old-fashioned way. So about 5 years ago, I've been in Switzerland about just over 5 years, 6 years. So about 5 years ago, I was actually doing this the traditional way from about 10 years ago. And about 5 years ago, I decided there must be a smarter way to do this, like Expedia or Travel City or one of these guys and them, a booking platform. So I started to look out of the market what was happening and what was going on. So there was B2B platforms that was available where brokers like me would go in and speak, like put a criteria and filter into a system. It spits out back a quote for us. And then we would then take that, put a markup on it, and then pass it on to the client. And then they say yes or no. Then we'll go back on the platform, get the operator's details, and then actually, confirm with the client everything. So it was still a long-winded process of back and forth. What we did was we decided, instead of a B2B platform, we're going to take us onto a B2C platform. So now the end user, which is the client, could go online, put in the search filters, hit submit, within seconds to get a response back with availability of jets, with the price and the size of jets, etc., and be able to book it right there and then. The sticky point for us was the payment platform, because you can imagine a transaction is would average 12,500 in the US, and you're talking about, it's very easy for a company to do 5-10 million in revenue easily. And the problem is, as a startup, the banks are very scared, and the merchant companies are very scared to put transactions through credit cards.
Right.
So they wanted us to put like $1 million down and stuff like that on it. But we kind of went on a different part where we went on an escrow facility. So the client would confirm on our system that they want the jet. An email is shot straight through to them with our bank account details. It was transfer the funds into an escrow account, and then it sits there until the job is done and everybody's happy, and then the money is split both ways between us and the operator. So it was pretty streamlined. Sorry?
No, I got you. I understand. Escrow is a good way.
Yes. So basically, that's pretty much the system in it. We got through to development. We built everything. We took it to market. And basically, as Chris says, within 6 months of launching it on the market, in the Houston market or the Texas market, which, by the way, is the second largest private jet market in the country, I had problems with my wife. So we had people like Beyonce's dad, Matthew Knowles, on there. We had a former New York Jets player on our team. We had one of the largest names in the industry backing us and everything. And we started to get traction and really build the name up really well. And then family disaster hit, and it was either the business or my family. And without going into too much gory details, as Chris said, my wife was starting to fall in love with somebody else, or fell in love with somebody else, and I decided, screw that shit, I'm coming back home to fight. Only for it to turn into a disaster. And then by the time I got back to Texas in September, everything had collapsed. And I just told everybody, I said, look, guys, I really want to carry this on, but I'm in a really bad state of mind. Plus, the team was scattered all over the world, so it was really difficult to have everybody in the same place. I think if everybody was in Texas, it would have been easier to salvage everything and keep it going. But when you're working with remote teams, it's really difficult. So the software and everything is there already. I think there's 1 or 2 plugins that the guy that he paid for, he didn't deliver it with the software for me. But when Chris or myself shares this, the software with you, you should be able to get in there and see what is right and what is not right.
Okay.
And then be able to rip it apart. We still have a very, very, very strong relationship with the B2B platform supplier, which is where we pull the API from to be able to pull the information that we need from the back end. That's still there. That is still active and everything. I know the CEO of the company very, very well. He's like a big brother to me. He's been my mentor for about 5 years as well. So, I mean, the technology is moving in a way where there's about 4 or 5 players, as I said now, that's in there. One of them is the biggest one, called JetSmarter. You probably heard of. JetSmarter.
Okay.
There's a European counterpart called FlyVictor. There's another one called...
What's the other one?
FlyVictor.
Victor? Okay.
Yeah, and that's VICKTOR, I think it is.
Okay.
And then there's hold on, I'll tell you. I have it here in front of me actually, because I sent him the summary as well. So we have JetSmarter, StrataJet, Stellar Aviation, Private Fly, Fly Victor, and Luna Jets. I'll share this document with you so you can have everything. It's an executive summary and overview of everything that we were doing.
Oh, okay.
So
So pretty much the market.
Go ahead. What makes you think that we can compete with those guys?
I don't think we could compete right now. I think what we have is we have an advantage where we could take the existing technologies that is available out there and take it a little more advanced than where it is by streamlining the process a little more. I spoke to Chris about using chatbots and also voice Alexa to be able to do the same thing. And also the marketing system that Chris was just telling you about that we're involved in with Luxmark Group. With that piece of technology, it'll be easy for us to be able to spy on the competitors, see what their keywords are, then take that, put it into our system, and then be able to take away that traffic from the people. It'll take some money, it'll take some investment, but I think once we have the software back up and running, fully functioning, with relatively enough money in marketing, probably 50,000 at the most, we could definitely do a hell of a lot with this.
Okay. So at the beginning, did you say that you think we could compete with this at this time, or not quite ready yet?
I don't think, like anything, if you enter into the market, it's going to take you a couple of years, 3 years solid to really break into the market.
Right.
However, saying that with the technology that we're working with in Luxmark Group, which is the marketing software, we could actually use AI, machine learning, and deep learning to our advantage to actually do more than what the competition is doing. And also, I know for a fact, nobody in those 5 or 6 companies I called for you are using this technology to be able to identify their customers online and offline to be able to market to them.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
And potentially the market right now is worth about, last time I checked, which was about last year's summer, it was $6.6 billion annually in revenue. The global market, 66% of that is in the US. So if we even got 0.5% of that, we're doing okay.
Right, right. Okay, and then what language is the program written in?
That is a good question. It is in, some of it is in WordPress, some of it is Angular.
What?
Angular, and you're asking a really good question. I'm not 100%. Some parts of it is written in WordPress, but it's Angular, it's Java, and it was CSS, and there's another one. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very famous language.
C#?
No, it wasn't C#. It is I can't remember just for the hell of it. I'll have to come. It'll come to me while we speak. But I have it open in front of me, so I obviously it's all encoded and stuff like that. So I don't know what it is, but it's definitely Angular, WordPress, and
he doesn't speak your language, Sherry. He doesn't speak your language at all.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But I knew once you said Java, I knew it wouldn't be C#. So because they're competing technologies.
Yeah. So I can't remember for the hell of it. Hold on, I'm gonna have to Google that if I want. But
why don't you do one other thing for us? Why don't you speak to your background in aviation? Because Sherry wants to be a pilot still.
Well, when I was young.
We can make that happen very, very easily.
That is not a background as far as your aviation background, Gavin.
Huh?
Give us a little background as far as your aviation background, and why are you so passionate about private jets and things like that?
Okay, so my love for aviation goes from as far as I can remember. I was a little boy growing up in the Caribbean, and the first time I smelled A1 fuel and I saw that massive plane on the tarmac, it was a a TriStar L1011, a Lockheed Martin, and that plane was the sexiest thing in my words, the most beautiful thing, the most, I don't know. She was just beautiful when I saw her. And when I was in high school, I used to ditch high school and go to the airport just to watch planes.
That's cool.
I couldn't tell my mom that at the time, but now I can joke about it.
Right.
From ever since I saw that first plane, I fell in love with it. I trained as an engineer in engineering and stuff like that to learn to be an airplane mechanic on the turbine engines. I wanted to work with turbines and stuff. And it just never happened. And about 10 years ago, I was in Bond Street, London, as you probably know, just off Oxford Street. And Hawker Beechcraft has a showroom for their private jets for sale. And I walked past it and I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, what's this all about? So I went in, because I've never been fascinated with private jets. It's always big planes that fascinates me. And I went in and I was talking to the girl, and strangely enough, I was looking at chartering a big plane, an Airbus 330-200, to fly from London to Jamaica, into Montego Bay, back up to London to Port of Spain via Barbados and back up to London. I was looking to do charter planes, but for people who was going to the Caribbean, because that's the market I know. And we looked at all the numbers and everything. We knew the traffic, how the break-even points and everything was. We knew it was 41% capacity each way, to break even. We knew how much the seating was going to cost. I could bore you to death, but I wouldn't go through all that because I could probably keep you on the line forever speaking about that. And at the time, Caribbean Airlines, which is the carrier for the Caribbean, was not flying to London, and they decided to come back into the market, and I stopped. And the market went from being about 8,500 a month right up to 17,000 a month in traffic. So we knew that there was a market for it. And then I met this advisor lady of mine she works in aviation. She built one of the largest companies in the UK called Air Partner PLC. And she took them from 5 people to 250 people in about 15 years. She was the CFO for the company. Yeah. She built the company from nothing to over 250 million with the team. So she knew aviation very, very well, but more private jets. And she said, well, I like your passion for big planes, but why don't you just go into private jets for the time being? It's much easier. And that's how I got started on private brokering of charter flights in Europe and in the US. So my passion with planes, or my love for planes, has been forever. So I could probably show you around, but I'll show you this one. This is my pride and joy. My wife got me it.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's nice.
I have several of them around. I am a big Boeing fan. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going, we say. That's a 787 Dreamliner. My life dream is to still have an airline if I can, a charter airline. And I can do that on the private jet side as well. So how we ran the charter business, the private jets, was like a charter service. So I'm a data junkie because my background is in government like you for the UK.
Oh, okay, so cool.
I'm an ex-Fed, as we would say.
And, he's infamous because he used to go undercover. So.
Oh.
I'm a deep undercover. I was deep cover for about 8 years. So yeah. And I'm a data junkie, so I look at data, I look at traffic stats, I look at where people are moving, the destinations, the arrival points, the time of day, the type of jets that are more effectively used. And we started to put on flights between Houston and Dallas, like a scheduled service, but non-scheduled. And we would have done really well with it. And I stopped because Dallas is the 5th busiest airport in the country, and Texas is the 2nd busiest state in the whole country with 286,000 flights a year.
Wow.
California is just 5,000 more than that. Do the maths, you'll see why I stayed in Texas.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned it.
Now, Sherry, you've got to tell your story about your Cessna days, okay?
Oh, yeah. Well, first I want to say it's interesting you mentioned being about airplane mechanic. my dad, when he was in the Air Force, was mechanic on the B-52s.
Oh,
So that was, yeah, so that's kind of interesting. But back when I was younger, I always was interested in being a pilot. I went up in a few Cessnas as passenger.
Yeah.
Never did get the lessons, but loved the experience, like being a bird. Any wind blow, you feel it. And I mean, I was so fascinated by airplanes back in middle school. I remember I did a term paper. I don't know if it was 15, 20-page term paper, because you're supposed to do an instructional paper on how to do something.
Yeah.
Like just step by step by step. Well, I did how to fly a Cessna. And I mean,
wow.
I remember
I'm sure the government loved you for that.
And I was probably 6th or 7th grade when I did that. And I remember step by step by step, you know, everything. That's why it ended up being such a long paper. And it's one of those things that I moved around so much. I would have loved to have reread that as an adult, you know, and it's gone. It's gone in the trash, you know, throughout all the moves. And I'm like, wow, that'd be neat to reread that, you know, at my age now.
Well, you know what? It's never too late to be flying. Trust me. I haven't flown in 6 years since I've been here. Since I came to Switzerland, I haven't flown because 1 is really expensive. 2, the amount of bureaucracy and red tape bullshit you have to go through here is not even funny. So when I come to the US, I fly in Texas sometimes, or I fly in London most of the time.
Oh, okay.
Well,
so when we meet, we'll all go flying.
I'm trying to convince him that it's time to move back to the States because a Big Mac costs $14 there.
Whew.
Yes, a Big Mac meal is about $14 right now. Yeah.
That's outrageous. Wow.
Yeah,
that's scary.
So I actually also, I also have a document that shows where the market as well is going, or the industry, and where people are predicting it as well, which is quite cool. So I have I shared the executive summary, the lean canvas, the pitch deck, the client journey, and the software with Chris. So Chris, if you just want to share that with her, I'm happy.
Sure.
Like if you send me your details directly as well, I could send it to you so you could have a look. But I have everything still on my computer if you ever want more information about it.
Okay, do you have like a requirements document or the design document behind that?
They have a design document in it. I'm pretty sure it was a design document that they had in there, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I shared it with Chris and I. So where is it? Hold on.
In the chat, I can give you my contact details. You guys still both see the chat as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start putting it in there here.
Yeah, we have a SUP, I guess it's called. Standard, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it has everything that was done, the hours that was done, by who, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, let's tie the dots together here. All right, we have a program that's virtually almost finished, but not really finished. We have a concept that is certainly viable, and we know we have competition. We also know that we have the marketing tools already in our hands to help us grow it fairly rapidly. And so, and we have Sherry and Dean to help clean it up and perfect it and bring it up to speed for 2019. So the whole point of all this is to say, there's kind of the question would be, all right, fine, we're going to put our effort into this. Now, when is the return going to come? You know, we can work on this for 3 years and not see a dime, but I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think with Gavin's knowledge of the industry and the people that he knows, I think we can probably pop this in place pretty quickly just from the people that he knows personally to put it out into the marketplace. As far as $50,000 for advertising, I don't think so. I know Gavin likes to have a bunch of money in his pocket in order to get things done, but you know, I'm more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. You know, I just say, okay, you know, we have the tools, we have the knowledge, we have the team. I'll be damned if we can't make it happen. So,
I think for me, once the software is ready, which would be yourself, Sherry, and Dean. And then the marketing would be me and Chris. And then I can get back the industry leaders to come back and be advisors to us. That's not a problem. And the go-to-market strategy would be literally using the marketing tools that we already have, that we have in the company, to be able to push it forward. But if you think of it as a scheduling and dispatching software, it's pretty much what it is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The back end of it is scheduling and dispatching.
Okay.
Like,
Now I know as far as
only logistics again, Sherry. Just you're back in logistics again.
right. And what my strengths I could see helping is, as far as skill set, is front end design. If you need usability, user usability, look, feel, styles, all of that. Also logic flows. Like if something takes 10 clicks to get somewhere, versus like we could get the process down to 5. Things like that.
Okay.
So logic flows like that. My programming language familiar with is C#. Have not worked in Java before, but that's not to say, I couldn't understand it. So that's the only thing I think is a little bit out of my skill set, is I have not worked with Java.
I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Java, okay.
Oh, Sherry, maybe you ought to take a look at it and just rebuild it in C#.
That's an idea.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
I know C# is quite strong and is robust.
You what?
I know C# is robust and strong, so yeah.
Yeah, it is. .NET framework behind that. I also worked with VB.NET before that, so I've done both, but C# is more versatile. And so that's kind of where I see strengths and weaknesses. And I know as far as Dean has excellent business development skills as well. So that, that's kind of our market, our two skill sets there. So.
Is Dean a programmer too or not?
No, not a programmer.
Okay.
Managerial, and also heavy into, a lot of transportation knowledge, a lot of technical knowledge. We both worked in, server support, networking, email server management. He managed a help desk before, help desk team, managed an IT department, been vice president in company and things like that. So that's where his skill set resides. So.
Okay.
Sounds like a future office manager, Gavin.
Sounds like the future operations officer.
Operations officer, yeah, exactly.
He's had a title that's operations in it, so he's had one of those titles before, yes.
Yeah.
So
I tend to not live by titles. I'm like the cleaner.
Yeah, and both of us, each of us have at least, I'd say, well over 20 years tech IT experience each.
Okay.
So we've kind of been through it back in the, I don't know if it was you, Chris, maybe in the call that I listened to from your last session, but I think you mentioned Commodore 64.
I did, yeah.
Was it you?
Yeah.
That was my first computer too.
Okay, good. Hey, we're on the same page, yeah.
I laughed when I heard that. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that term in forever.
That's beyond my time, so I'm going to
say. It's 64 meant 64 KB.
K. Yeah.
Not even meg.
No, and I remember the VIC-20s too. We had one of those back in the day.
But I used the Commodore for all kinds of things. It was really cool. You had to have the drive, to make it work and do anything. But that little floppy drive was pretty good.
Yeah, you might hear something really nerdy. Is I remember in high school, how kids will save up their allowance and things for weird stuff. Well, I was in high school and I saved up my allowance for WordPerfect 5.1.
Oh my God!
How sad is that?
Wow, even I remember that.
For a piece of software back in the in the late 80s, early 90s.
Was it? So then that was when Windows finally made it, right?
Yeah.
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 When Windows first came out, I was so thrilled. I can't tell you because I worked in DOS all the time,
And, the green screens, yes.
The green screen, with a little deal at the top, and then boom, here we go. But when Windows,
wow, so you guys are proper geeks.
When Windows first came out, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, this sounds exciting, and I guess at this point, next steps would be for Dean and I to read up on everything, and get a feel for, what you'll give us to read and peruse and
Yeah.
get our
Well,
head
I
around
think
it
with
all.
what you said Dean's knowledge is about, he would understand the business model that we were trying to put together, Chris, and come at it from an operational perspective. So the way I see it is we got the programmer coder, we got the operations person, we got the marketers on board. Yeah, that's pretty much. We could always outsource certain small things to Chris' team to do if we have anything to do. But in regards, you said you're a front-end designer, but are you a back-end designer as well?
Yes,
sorry, a back-end coder?
yes, coder, coded C#. So pretty much I've coded an application for the entire gamut, from front-end design, usability, to processes and logic flows, to the actual code in C# behind it. Also designed SQL Server databases and database structures, primary keys, and all the connections there as well.
Yeah.
So you would know what size server we needed to pull this off, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Well,
I've spec servers before and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, and are you good with mobile apps as well?
Am I what?
Do you build mobile apps as well?
Have not built mobile apps before. I did look at a tool for that called Business Apps.
Yeah.
BIZNESS, and that I'm looking at, for our company is having that as an offering where I could do them through that utility, more in the I forget what they call it. It starts with a P, where they don't download the app, but it looks like an app when they go to the web browser.
Oh yeah.
I forgot what they call it.
PWD.
It's a 3-letter term.
PWD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that we were looking at going into that.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. No,
In fact, those are better than apps because they're first of all, they don't take up any memory on the phone, and
right.
Secondarily, they're just more efficient. They can still do the same thing.
Modern thing.
What?
Is that where the trend is going now? That PWD.
Yep.
Yes. Because you don't have to download it to your phone, because people are getting where they're like, gosh, I don't want to download another app. You don't have to worry about probably, Chris, correct me, but I don't think you worry quite so much about ads necessarily.
No.
As we get them all with the mobile, and so that a
not,
lighter footprint.
It's not able. It doesn't allow the phone to allow those in through that portal like an app does. An app opens up the phone to anything that wants to come in, basically.
Yes, and then also light footprint, and then also it's always up to date. You're not running updates with the phone. That's
one of the more important things about it. Your phone is updating apps, but you never have to update this.
Right, and what I notice, I'm probably terrible on it, but I have an Android, and what I do is anytime it tries to push an update, I'm constantly, not yet, until the point where it doesn't let me say not yet again, and it just does it, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So I don't readily accept the updates necessarily, because I'm like, oh, something's not going to be right.
Okay. No, the reason I asked is because I know when I was building it, they always talked about having a front-end designer and a back-end developer for the two to work together. But I'm trying to remember, I've been out of it for almost a year now, and all the code and language and everything has gone out of my head, and it's really bugging me. But
you'll remember it right after the phone call.
What I can do is, once we all agree that this is something that we would like to go forward with, I could open up conversations with Doug, who's based in New York on the East Coast, and he's the founder and CEO. So the company is called FlightPartner.com.
Flight Partner?
Yeah, FlightPartner.com.
What do they do?
That's the B2B software. That's the B2B software that we tap into. So we use their back end as our front end and our whole system. So we basically pull their API and build out from there. It's to me, it's the most accurate system on the market right now. And I trust the guy. I know the system inside out. I've worked with it enough. So FlightPartner, the guy name is called Doug Schmoll. He's a really great guy. He's an instructor examiner for the FAA. He's a former military veteran like me. He's He flew for, I think it's FedEx or UPS and stuff like that for many years. He's a G5 pilot. So there you go.
Oh, cool.
G5. And he's a really cracking guy. Like, I mean, you know, he literally had tears in his eyes when he heard me and my wife split, because he met with us 2 years ago in Las Vegas and stuff like that. And he's always said to me, take a break, come back. I'm always going to be here.
That's cool.
So yeah, I could actually give you the credentials as well to go in and look at how the system works as well if you want.
Okay, sure. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
You want to do that through Chris and then?
Oh,
Yeah. And what would happen is then, Sherry, what I would do is give you Doug's details directly, and you could just speak to him, because you could speak in that language. That, as I call it, goobly-goo language.
Yeah.
The glue that sticks everything together.
When I get excited about programming or web stuff or anything technical at my house, everybody in the living room, kids, the husband, my mother who lives with us, they all look at me like I speak Chinese.
Yeah. No. I think Doug would feel very happy speaking to you, because he's seen me going through a developer from New Zealand and Australia, a developer from India, developer from America, developer from England, or Scotland, in fact, and nobody's ever managed to crack it properly, completely, 100%.
Wow.
So I think because you work for the government as well, that would go very well. He would be much more happy to open up to you a little more as well.
Okay. That puts on the pressure. Nobody of all of those developers never got it finished.
Gary,
far.
The ball is in your court, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened was people get greedy and they want too much, too fast, too quick, and they didn't want to wait. They want to just, how they say, they want to put the cake in the oven and expect it to come out in 5 minutes, not to cook it.
Right.
Over
Yeah,
time.
nothing is that fast.
Yeah. But given with what I know now and the lessons I've learned, I had to burn to learn this lesson, and without a doubt, having all the contacts in the industry that I still do, I'm very close to the godfathers, as I call them, in the industry. They're like mentors to me still. And the marketing knowledge that I have now with the tools that we have and where the tech is going, I think inside 12 months, we could do really well with this. So there's a company called, it's JetSmarter itself. Yeah, JetSmarter is that app that they built. And they went from zero, as in 0 year one, to 5 years, and they had an evaluation of $1.2 billion.
Wow.
The second company is Victor, and they worth about close to 150 million or something like that. The third company is Private Fly, and they're worth about close to 80 or 90 million. The other one, LunaJet, is about 50 million. And Stratajet, who had started up about 3 years ago, they're worth about 15 or 20 million right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something.
So that breaks my heart.
It
really breaks my heart.
So, yeah. And I know for sure on the marketing angle side of it, we definitely have technology that they don't have. And Chris could tell you, he was speaking to, a colleague of his, and I think they're seeking investment right now. And when he explained to the guy how the software worked, he was like, whoa, that's just going to get people really super excited about it. Because imagine being able to put contact details to 50% of anybody who hits your website.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
Any investor who's looking and going, can you really identify that? Because then you can literally, that's all your leads right there. There's never, the hottest lead you have is the person who's on your website right now.
Right, and you can find, that's like you said, Chris, that's the creepy stuff, where you can find who's there without them opting into anything. You can,
that's spooky to me. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah. Well, what gets me is, you go nowadays is you'll go to something, and then next thing you know, anywhere you go, you see all their ads. Like, really?
Yeah. You're looking for a blue dress, and next thing ad you see is for a blue dress, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like.
So being able to spy on the keywords and stuff like that is just crazy. I mean, what I see now is what I would like to do is develop it, take it to market, test it in one state, which will be Texas again, which is a market I know, and build it up over 3 to 6 months in that market, and then bring the investors to us, as in let them come to us.
Okay.
Everybody must be like, hey, who are these guys? They're making news like crazy. Like, what's going on?
Well,
We need to speak to them.
That's proof of concept.
Exactly.
Got you. So get the proof of concept up there in a test environment and then let them see it and watch what happens from there. You're saying to then perfect and tweak the remaining pieces of it? Is that?
No, to take it to market to high growth.
Got you.
Because
Okay.
then we could easily secure 10, 15 million in investment.
Got you. Okay.
To really drive it home from there.
Okay. And then the proof of concept, there's your key to doing that, because then you get people to test, well, this is great. This works well. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not even that. It's being able to target people who doesn't even know they need a jet, but they're actually looking for one. And being able, somebody hits your website and you call them and go, hey, John, I just noticed you on my website and you search for a flight between here and here. Are you still looking for that? I mean, that is crazy.
It's crazy. It is, absolutely. And
it's like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs didn't build the Apple or the Mac, but he saw the potential it had and the marketing head on, and that's why I'm coming at it now. I am not a tech person. I don't pretend to be a tech person. I like tech, so I just need to surround myself like Steve did and get the right people now back on board to be able to drive it home.
Right, and it seems like for you, your knowledge, you have the industry knowledge.
I have the industry knowledge and the contact. So one of the guys who mentored me, he's the CEO for Embraer Executive Jets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Michael Amalafino. He's one of my personal advisors. There's a company called JetNet, which is the industry leader for data intelligence on the market. Roland Vincent, he's one of my mentors. There is Todd Goulet, who is the senior vice president for sales for Airshow, which is the largest insurance company in the world for private jets. He's one of my mentors. And then the last one is Brant Dalfords of Bloomer DeVere Jet Transactions, which is based in California. And he was the global sales director for Gulfstream Jets for over 20 years.
Wow.
And these guys are all 50 years plus, 60 years plus, and they really like me and they support me.
That's good.
2 years ago, 2 years ago when I took my wife to Las Vegas with us, Michael Amalafino, the CEO for Embraer Jets, I went to see him to say hello, and he was in a meeting and he came out to see me and he took off his lanyard and he's like, come, let's take a picture, come, let's walk outside, come, let's have a bite, let's have a drink. And my wife was like, hey, that's the CEO for that big company. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of my guys who supports me. So I have the direct mobile numbers. I could call on them anytime.
That's awesome.
I guess, the point here is we're not playing with this. This is not a game. This is a very serious business that is ready to grow and develop into something with the contacts, the technology, and the sales. It's ready to go now.
Also, the market is ready for it now. 2 years, 3 years ago, the market was not ready for it. The market is definitely ready for it now. They've gone that. What's the curve they call it, Chris? We're not the early adopters. We're at the one after the early adopters stage now.
Yeah. I can't remember now exactly either. What we use a term for it though, and I can't remember it right now.
Correct. Yeah.
It's almost like you're right, almost at the peak right now.
Yes.
And
it's good to not be the first person, but the second person. So we're not the first people. They pioneered it. We could look from it, learn from it, and see what we could do better from it, and then come up with something much more highly usable.
Right. And that's good because you learn from the stumbles of the very first.
Yeah.
And you can see, here's the first ones, and here's what I like about what I see, and here's what I don't like.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to throw the don't likes, take the likes, and expand upon it.
Yeah.
Do you
So
know
our
do you know
motto is,
how you
simpler,
tell the
faster,
first people in the market? The
Hmm.
first people in the market are? They're the guys with the arrows in their back.
Yeah,
smarter.
exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So our
true.
slogan
That's
was
true.
simpler, faster, smarter. Because it was a
Right.
simpler system to use, it was a faster system, and it was smarter to use it.
Mhm.
So I think I'll keep that tagline still: simpler, faster, smarter.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. So I'm
S-
ready, guys. I got
SFS. SFS.
yeah. SFS,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
SFS
great.
Jets. There you go. That's the name of the company right there.
There you go. I like that.
It's been
Very
called many
cool.
names. It's been called Supera Jets. It's been called Blue Heron Jets. It's been called Artemis Jets. It's been called Alpha One Jets. It's been called, I can't remember the other one
I
now.
kind of like the Blue Heron. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, Blue Heron Jets means is the name of it was after the bird in Florida. It's very agile. It's maneuverable, flexible, stuff like that. But because of legal reasons, I'm not going to use that name. I don't want to. It's just I guess I could use it still if we wanted. I have
Speaking
the
of
logo and
birds, you
everything.
could do bald eagle. That's another majestic one.
Yeah. No, I got everything for it. So I mean, I'm easy. Really, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
So
that comes down to the marketing side there.
right.
yeah.
Yeah, as far
So
as my company name, it's funny. I'm perfectionist, which kind of turns around and gets me a lot of the time because then I'm not ready for something because it's not perfect yet. But we were coming up with our company name, and I'm like, oh gosh, what are we gonna name it? And Dean, within like 5 minutes, spits out Digital Ideation Group, and I'm like, I like that. So that decision was made like nothing, fast, and it was one of those. I was
Yeah.
like, how'd you come up with that so quick? So
So
that was kind of cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Terry. What would you want out of this moving forward then? I like to be very blunt.
Yes, I love the excitement of development and being on something that's up and coming, cutting edge. To me, it's rewarding. I'd love to help with my strengths are usability, look, feel, making it easy for users to use. I think that's where I have the strengths. But yeah, it would be nice to, like I told Chris, and this wouldn't necessarily be the end all, but currently, I'd like to, for both of us, myself and Dean, to be able to go into full-time business
Yeah.
within a year.
Okay.
And
That's definitely
that's
possible.
a personal goal for us. That would be great for us to be able to transition to full-time business.
With this, I don't see any problem with the year. Do you, Gavin?
No, with this, I mean, if we really play serious to this and we really use the project management tool to manage a project properly and accountability and everything, I would say we could get this ready to go with an MVP stage in 3 months or less. Because I don't know what your time constraint is with your family and your kids and stuff like that. When you're going to have time to code or program or build or design, and then back and forth between, do we like this idea? Do we like not that? So let's say 3 months safely for getting an MVP up and running. Because as I said, the technology, the software is there. Once you look at it, you'll be able to tell me more. And then is literally taking it to market, which would be Texas to start with for now. And literally, we have the marketing technology software at our disposal. So Chris, yep, in 3 months, we could do a hell of a lot with that.
Yeah,
so
actually, we can pre-plan what we're going to do there during that 3 months. So we're ready to move immediately. So
yeah. Well, we could start doing our own side, which is like spying on the competition for the keywords and stuff, using it on in market side, and actually seeing what they spit out. So use our marketing. So while you guys are designing and planning and building and coding, we could start on that. So in 3 to 4 months' time, we have everything ready to go to market and start playing a little bit. And in 3 months again from then, we would have had proof of concept, proof of usability, proof of clients using it, stuff like that. And then in 6 months' time, we make really good money on this very quickly. So, and average commission we would probably charge is about 15%, with a margin of error, say 5%. in case if the jet costs more, which sometimes it does, which is probably the software we use in the guide system. It's got an error of margin of about between 1% and 3% on the pricing. So if we put 5% as error of margin, we still have 10% commission pretty much on there.
And the average charter is how much?
It's about between 8.5 to 10,000, 12,000.
Okay.
If you think the average cost on a small jet is about 2,500, mid-sized jet is about 3,500, and a large cabin jet is about 5-6. So you're looking at about anywhere between say 9 and 12,000 for an average flight.
So we're looking at least $1,000 per job easily.
Very, very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we scale this, you know, when you're doing 80 or 100 charters a month or a week, do the maths. It soon stacks up.
Right, right. And, you know, as far as time, yes, currently it's tight just because, you know, with full-time engagement work-wise and business growth-wise, children, family, all that. But, you know, that's the only thing I am tight on, but very interested, you know, in seeing what we can get working.
Yeah, well, once we share the software with you, Chris, can you pass it on? Because I'm on my phone, I'm not on my laptop.
Yeah.
So if you say it to her now, so she could.
Yeah, I'll send everything you sent me. I'll send to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you see where I sent the email, Chris, into the chat?
I got the email. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but, just have a look at it, and probably let's schedule a call when you guys are ready to speak with Dean, hopefully on the next time. Yeah. And then.
Then after that, let's put them in touch with Doug after that, right? So
yeah. Well, once Sherry looks at what she sees, she might be able to tell me, okay, so let's scrap this and just build it back from scratch, or there's certain aspects of things that we could use here. So that's what he was using. He was using headless iframes or something like that, as well as part of it.
Okay, HTML iframes. That does sound familiar. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Something like that. But you might look at it and think, okay, we could probably use 20% of this, or maybe nothing of this, or maybe 80% of this. Only when you look at it, you'll be able to tell us.
Right. Absolutely.
And then, we'll go from there. But literally, once you look at it, then after that, the next step would be putting you directly in contact with Doug and letting you have a tech conversation with Doug on how the backend works and the API and everything, how the information is pulled and stuff and stored. And then we could he's going to open up the API for us again, and then we could start pulling away from there.
Okay.
The nice thing about this is I don't have to pay for the API. Normally you pay a lot of money for that.
You don't have to pay for that.
Not right now, no.
Okay. All right.
So pretty much your software is using that API to pull forth functionality and to expand upon it. Okay, got you.
So we pull from them, they pull from our scheduling and dispatching system around the world. So there's Bart, there's Leon, there is there's a few of them scheduling and dispatching softwares.
I've got a funny story real quick that he told me, right? He's got this guy talking to him one day, and he's talking about his jet and so forth. And apparently he's talking about it being there, he's ready to use and so forth. Gavin gets on his phone. He's got an app that shows him where all the jets are in the world, literally. And he's
nice.
This guy's jet sitting in Spain, right? And he looks at him and says, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, he was trying to impress some girls in a nightclub, and I was like, a bar type thing. And I was like, dude, seriously, where's your jet? You said it's at Luton? Oh, okay, cool. But given the registration number, it says it's in Spain right now. Can you explain that to me?
I bet that was the look on his face had been priceless.
That was priceless. You should have seen the girl's face. Oh, you know about private jets? You're in private jets? No, I don't know anything about private jets. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
I'm the guy in the room that nobody knows. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, I will send everything, Sherry, that I have. I'm sure there's more, but everything that I have, I will send out to you this evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can look
and I will go back online now to see if my my login credentials is still valid with Flight Partner. And if it is, then I'll send it over for Chris to send to you as well.
Okay.
And have a play around, have a look at the software, what was built. Tell me if it's any good. I kind of like the design and the concept that he had built.
Okay.
But we might decide to change that because I'm no designer. I'm a marketer. In fact, I'm a
Okay.
cop. I'm an undercover cop. That's what I know. And I know I'm putting teams together, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Nice to meet you.
Sherry, be
Okay,
good,
same
my
here.
dear.
Good. It's nice to talk to you again, Chris. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey,
All right. Bye-bye.
be sure to watch the replay.
What?
Be sure to watch the
Oh,
replay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully I didn't. All right. We'll do. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How do I do this? Do you want to have a chat still, Chris?
Oh, we can if you want to. Yeah.
Let me just set my hotspot for my computer because I need to see if my credentials still work so I can give it to you. Come on. Bear with me while I'm getting this done.
You, in the chat box, you want to go ahead and take her information, that'd be good too. You know?
Yeah, I just took a screenshot of it.
Did you? Okay. All right. Good enough. All right,
Did
hang
that
on.
go according to
just a
plan
minute.
for you?
Stand by a minute.
Sure. Where are we? What?
Okie dokie. Back in.
Hey, what's going on with Doug?
So what?
What's going on with Doug's side?
What's that?
CloudFront wasn't able to connect to the origin. If you receive error while trying to access the Apple access website, please contact the website provider. What?
You trying to log into that site you talked about?
Yeah, but it says it's not working.
Is the guy out of
The
business?
request should not- No, as far as I know, not. I hope not.
It might
Oh,
screw
shit, man.
up something, huh?
That would mess up everything.
Is that the main API?
Yep.
This is Doug you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Says Doug. I hope it's not down or it's just a side problem or something. Flight Partner, here we go. Doug.